Interest rates are definitely playing a part, but I think sentiment is really like what I've learned over the last few years is that interest rates are a factor for sure, but that sentiment mixed with the interest rates is gigantic.
But the market is moving. I mean, the market, you got people right now who are doing stuff. You got people right now who are calling us who are like, we're ready to list. You got people who are anxious to buy. There's a huge amount of activity around Christmas, like there is every year. Toronto Real Estate Board released their stats. We ended up about shy of 70,000. So I think it was closer to 65,000 transactions for the year in 2023, right? So I think it was 12% down from total transactions the year before, which I think is
in Toronto.
More, well, on the Toronto Real Estate Board, like MLS. So those properties could be anywhere. But the more important thing is just like that activity level, like what has changed, right? And obviously there's a bunch of people who aren't going to be transacting because of interest rates. Like that's just the bottom line. Those could be investors, speculators, first-time buyers. There's all sorts of people that would say, okay, interest rates are just too high. But there's still 65,000 transactions, which means that there's a buyer and a seller, right? So not everybody's buying and selling twice. We won't say 130,000 people because a lot of those people had bought and sold at the same time. So I don't know, we'll say like half. So let's call it like 30 something thousand. So 100,000 people still had to move and to make a decision, whether it's to sell the property, buy a property, whatever it was. 100,000 people. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of business. That's a lot of opportunities for people to, do what they need to do in an industry. It's a healthy real estate industry statistic.
But it's healthy compared to other cities and other places on the planet, but compared to what we're used to, it feels dead, right?
Yes.
And that's just the way that it is right now, and that's the way that it might be for a little while. But interest rates are definitely playing a part, but I think sentiment is really like what I've learned over the last few years is that interest rates are a factor for sure, but that sentiment mixed with the interest rates is gigantic, and people are still kind of like hemming and hawing out there. There's definitely not like this gung-ho atmosphere that we had the last time things paused, right? When things paused last time, everybody's like, hey, good times are here again. Let's go. And everybody went, nah.
If the government did this, okay? Here's the thing about, economists, right? When they're all trying to give you their predictions and stuff like that, it's always about all other things being equal, right? So, if everything stayed the same, then this is what I think would happen. But if this scenario happened, if the government made an announcement today and said that, quantitative easing would commence again in 2025 and that they would drop rates back down to near zero, and that they were going to open up the immigration floodgates so that we would be bringing in twice as many people, and that they weren't going to help the building industry whatsoever to build any more properties, and that they were going to continue, status quo, and we would be having a housing supply shortage going forward. A bunch of people would say, oh my God, next year is going to be crazy. I better get in the market. I better buy soon. I better make sure that I've got a piece of real estate, because next year, if the government does all those things, we're going to see a pandemonium again. And they would say, well, I don't care what the interest rates are now. They'll be cheaper next year. And I don't care what the prices are now, because there'll be more next year. And the sentiment would change and they'd all start buying. Now, that's not going to happen again. But it's just an example of like how powerful sentiment is.
Why won't it happen again?
What I'm saying is the government's not going to announce that and people aren't going to do that. It's a totally fictitious story. What I'm just trying to emphasize is that the sentiment is going to be the most, like, the guiding indicator. The sentiment is going to be the one that's going to say, go left, go right. And right now the sentiment is real estate sucks. Don't buy it. It's bad. It's going down. You're in trouble. You're an idiot. If you buy it today, it's going to go down lower and everyone's going to laugh at you and say, why did you buy when everyone told you not to buy? I told you so. You must be dumber than other people.
You bought it when things were 20% down from peak. You're an idiot. Like, comment, and subscribe if you got anything from one of these clips. And if you want to see some more, press something on the screen here. Boom.
That was good.
That was good. I like that. That was good.